Hello, as you may know or may have guessed, I am Jay, and generally I give you my take on things, thus the name. But in this video, I wanted to kind of do a follow up or reaction type thing. I recently saw a video posted by Linus Tech Tips that featured a console smasher PC, and this thing was $1,600. So, I decided to show you how you can build your own PC. Might not be quite as small, but it will still be very small, and it will still be roughly console size. So I'm going to show you how you can build a better PC than the one from that Linus Tech Tips video for around $1,000. So real quick before I get into it, one of the things that I did not mention is that this will also be a fairly VR capable machine. So keep that in mind. Okay, so first up, we have the processor, an Intel Core i5-6400, 2.7 gigahertz quad-core processor. This is the exact same one that was used in the console smasher PC. Clearly, if you wanted to spend, I don't know, $40 or $50 extra, I think you could get a around 3 gigahertz and probably the unlocked version, so you could do some overclocking. Next up, for the cooler, because the console smasher PC in question was water cooled, I went with a Corsair H60, which comes with a thin, I believe, like 25 millimeter, 25 millimeter thick, 120 millimeter radiator. This should fit in pretty much most mini ITX cases. Definitely something that you might want to look into. And if you and really with this processor, you don't need that much cooling power. So you could easily go with the stock cooler that comes with the Core i5 and save yourself $60. But like I said, I included it just because that's what the build from the Linus Tech Tips video had. Next up, I picked a MSI Gaming Pro Mini ITX motherboard. The reason that I went with the gaming motherboard, A, it's got some good reviews, so it's a good quality, and B, it comes with Wi-Fi. And I believe it's AC Wi-Fi, so I could be wrong. I'm not going to look into it right now. Anyway, so next, the memory, I just got some G.Skill Ripjaws 5. Tends to be a pretty solid memory for a decent price. Two 8-gig sticks for 16 gig total should be plenty for any gaming PC. If you really wanted to, you could bump it up to 32 gig. But it's also DDR4 3200, so that's pretty fast memory. And if you wanted to shave, say, like $10 off the total price, you could probably go with some DDR4 2400. For the hard drive, I went with a 480 gig solid state drive. I picked this because 480 gigs should be a pretty good size. It should get you a good amount of games and whatnot, a good amount of storage for games, and should be pretty fast. If you're looking at this not being enough, or if you also want to store movies or video files or something on this computer, you could also pick up a like a 60 or a 120 gig solid state drive just to hold just as your boot drive to hold your operating system, and then a 1 or 2 terabyte hard drive, 3.5-inch hard drive, and it should cost about the same amount. So next up, the thing that makes this VR capable is the GTX 1060, which is better than the GTX 980 featured in the original console smasher build. So here we go. We're one-upping it with that. Next, I went with this Cooler Master case, because it's cheap. It's only $40, and with a $10 rebate, and B, because it's really, really small. It's like 8 by 10 by 11 inches. Maybe not quite as small as the one from the Linus Tech Tips video, but again, it is pretty small. Finally, we have an EVGA Supernova GS 550 watt 80 plus gold certified power supply. Now, I know you can get a 650 watt 80 plus gold for the same price roughly, but you do need to look at kind of the power curves and your power efficiency, and really a 650 watt for a single graphics card and a single solid state drive and everything for this particular build. Even the 550 watts a little overkill. Finally, I included in the price an $85 version of Windows 10 Home Edition. If you already have Windows, or if you're running Linux, then you certainly don't need this, and you can chop $85 off that $1,000 price tag. So all in all, I mean, if you really wanted to cut this thing cheap, you could build this for, I think, like $850. Like if we already had Windows, so that's $85 knocked off, and then we knocked $10 off the memory, so you know there's $95 off, and then another $60 off, so that's $155. I mean, yeah, you could build this thing for easily under $900. Probably about $900 out the door after tax and everything. So, yeah, really, really cheap system. I don't know why you need to spend $1,600 on something that might be a little bit smaller, you know? Alright guys, well thanks for watching. I hope you found this video informative, and I hope you know that with a little bit of research, a little bit of know-how, especially nowadays, building computers yourself really is not that difficult. I mean, a mini ITX build might be a little difficult, or a little more difficult than just a full-size ATX build, because you have a lot less space to work with, but really it shouldn't be that difficult. It shouldn't be that hard to do yourself, and you, as you've seen, you can cut that price tag in almost half and get better stuff, better components, a better system. So, yeah, I mean that was just ridiculous. No need to spend that. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.